Hey, we back. I'm here once again on OwO bot, except not really, because we're talking about another helper bot today, and this is Weapons bot this time. Now this bot is kind of similar to the last bot we talked about, NeonUtil, so this hopefully will be a bit of a shorter video. It does a lot of the same things, but mostly it's looking at weapons. Interestingly enough, it has a whole separate weapon storage, reroll and collection thing from OwO bot. So as you can see, I've just been fiddling about with that myself. I just got my first weapon, re-rolled it the first time, managed to get a legendary passive on the first try, which is pretty lucky. And this is all just basically doing the same stuff as OwO bot, but of course, because it's not OwO bot, these weapons don't actually exist. I can take that ID and I can check it. And yeah, the weapon obviously doesn't exist. I was kind of hoping, to be fair, that the weapon would exist on OwO bot, and it's just taking weapons that do exist on OwO bot and running them through itself. That would be kind of cool, but kind of unrealistic as well. So yeah, it does have that, but we'll get into all of that shortly. Right, so what does the bot do? Well, in terms of its functions that are like helper bot-esque, we can do similar things to NeonUtil. So let's run my weapons thing and let's check both. So we now have this button as well down here by weapons, and we have the NeonUtil bot one. I'm going to press both, and we're going to see what the differences are. So firstly, I would think this is a bit of a nicer interface. It's got the emojis on it, it's got some nice formatting, whereas this is all just text. So there is that. This one shows like potential legendaryable weapons and stuff. It shows the maximum quality on the ID and all the weapons. This one obviously does the same thing. We've got the maximum quality on all the weapons, also the minimum quality, interestingly enough. Yeah, there's it's a nicer interface basically. That's the bottom line. It's showing the same stuff as this, and it's a nicer interface. So that's pretty much all I can say about that. Then if we check a weapon in particular, like this, then we also have a button under this for each of them. So we have the NeonUtil one, and we have the weapons one. And again, it's showing pretty much the same stuff here. Here we have the passive reroll chances, which is not shown in Weapons bot, which I really like this. I think this is really cool. This one also gives the range, and as for nice interfaces, NeonUtil is doing well here anyway. It's still got the emojis, it's got the nice formatting, all the rest of it. So in terms of this menu, I'd definitely say NeonUtil is winning. In terms of this menu, looks like Weapons bot is winning. Funnily enough, when you get two bots doing the same thing, though, it doesn't make a huge amount of difference. So yeah, you can use this basically instead of NeonUtil if you fancy. Both are good. If you want more information on NeonUtil as a bot, then check out my last video on that one. I guess I'll probably link that in the description if I'm smart. Anyway, it does a bunch of other stuff as well, that being Weapons bot. That is less OwO helper based and more fun based. So for example, if I type .new, it's just going to generate a weapon, which is kind of interesting. Now, of course, this weapon doesn't really exist, because this is not OwO bot, so don't get yourself confused. I know someone's going to get confused, but this is just generating random weapons, so you can see the percentage chances. So for example, we got a rare weapon here. Most of the time, you will get a rare weapon. That is just actually how OwO bot works. And so if you fancy just generating a bunch of weapons and seeing that for yourself, you can do that. You don't require weapon boxes to open them. Although saying that, we can also do that. If I do .wc, it will open a weapon crate, and it shows the same interface as OwO bot when doing that. Again, we got a rare weapon, because that's how OwO bot works. Actually, I say that. This weapon isn't rare, this is actually uncommon. It's just showing the rare thing because its max is rare, I guess? Weird. I don't know. Bots, huh? Anyway. Yeah, so then it's given us a weapon code, and again, we can plug that into OwO bot and it will tell us that it doesn't exist, or presumably anyway. But like we can see the weapon in Weapons bot, and what I can do is I can actually check which weapons I have on Weapons bot using .mw. There we go, and so that's my second weapon that I've got. We've got this one here, we just saw at the start of the video with its legendary magic, and then we've got this one here that we just opened. Now we can also re-roll these weapons if we want. So we have some weapon shards, which you can find with .ws. I have 260 weapon shards currently. Getting weapon shards is an interesting one. I'll go into that in a second. But using the weapon shards is as you would expect. We can re-roll, we put the weapon in, we can say I'm going to re-roll the passive, and it will spend us 100 weapon shards, and it will re-roll the passive. Not nearly so lucky this time with the passive on that one. It went down a bit. No legendary twice in a row. That would be very cool. We could always re-roll it again. It's still not better. I mean, I guess it is literally better, but hey, whatever. Anyway, so what's the point? Well, it's just a bit of fun, right? This doesn't really do anything. It's not helping you with OwO, that's why I say it's not really a helper thing. But it's kind of fun if you want to mess around with some weapons. You always wanted that fabled spirit staff. Well, it's easier to get it in WeaponsBot than it is in OwO because this one gives you unlimited weapon crates, so that's fun. But what it doesn't give you is unlimited shards. So let me take you to when I was fiddling about with the shards. So if we scroll up a bit here, we can find me fiddling about with this earlier. I checked my weapon shards and it says I have 0, and it says I need to run this command in order to gain shards. The point being you get shards for battling, but only when you have links enabled. Kind of weird. But anyway, so I run the command. I already have links enabled. You will have seen this from the last video that we did on OwO actually. But I run the command just to show WeaponsBot that it is enabled. And then I check my weapon shards and it still says that I need to enable them. So I think, okay, well, I'm going to do a battle. That'll show me the links in the battle. And then it still says I still need to enable it. So I try again, and it says I need to enable it. I do another battle, and it still says I need to enable it. I try, this is what I assume ended up working. I set it to false, and then I set it back to link again afterwards. It still didn't work initially, and then I do a battle, and then it did work. So I think that's probably what you need to do if you're trying to get this work. You need to set the logs off of link, and then set them back again, and then do a battle? That is, I think, what worked. It's kind of funky, because just setting it to link when it was already linked didn't work, having it be link originally didn't work, and doing battles didn't work. I don't know what's up with that, but that's what I did that I think worked. You set it off link, then you set it back to link, and then you do a battle. And then what it does is it gives you shards every time you do a battle. So if I type OwO now, remember that we had, 60 shards remaining, there you go. And then if I do WS there, the shards has gone up. It seems to give you a pretty random amount each time you do a battle, but as long as you keep doing battles and you have log links enabled, then it's going to keep giving you shards, which is pretty weird in my opinion. I don't really get why it gives it on battles and why it has to have log links enabled, but hey, sure, whatever. This is fine. Potentially what it's doing is using the log links as a method of verifying the fact that when you typed OOB, the battle happened. And it wants to give shards on battles. It might be something like that. But yeah, there you go. So that's how you get shards in the bot. And then you can use them to re-roll your weapons, which is kind of cool, except the weapons can't actually be used in OwO. So yeah, if you want to have a bit of fun with that, you're welcome to do so. But anyway, I think that's everything that I'm going to cover here. If you want to have a look at the bot in question, then I should probably put the link to it in the description to inviting it. And to be fair, I probably should have done that for NeonUtil as well. I don't think I did. Oops. Anyway, time to change that. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!